Welcome, everyone.
We've seen 100 days of the largest protests in Iran since the revolution in 1979. And I know how much you respect and admire and are concerned with the Iranian people themselves. And this is, I think, in large degree, one of the reasons you decided to embark on this whole thing, maybe among other things, but the timing was right. If we get close in negotiations right now, but the deadline for the ceasefire is tomorrow, if it looks like things are progressing, will you not necessarily extend it to a definitive amount of time, but will you let it keep going if there's progress in the talks before taking?
Well, I don't want to do that. We don't have that much time because by the time both parties get there, as you know, they just got the okay to go forward, which I knew they were going to do anyway. I mean, I don't think they had a choice. They have to negotiate. And, you know, the one thing I'll say is this: Iran can get themselves on a very good footing if they make a deal. They can make themselves into a strong nation again, a wonderful nation again. They have incredible people. But they seem to be, you know, bloodthirsty. They're led by some very, very unfortunately tough people. And I don't mean tough in a good way. I think it's very negative for the country because we're much tougher than they are, like not even close. But they have to use reason and they have to use common sense, and they can get themselves into a great position to make themselves into a great country, but a legitimate country, not a country based on death and horror.
And I think regimes only respond to certain things, and I understand your threats to bomb the bridges in the electric grid, but I don't think the regime cares about the people of Iran. And if you did that, I'm sure it's the last thing you'd probably want to do, but it would hurt at least some of the people that we care about and why we embarked on this in the first place. So that would be, I'm sure, a last resort for you.
It's not my choice, but it will also hurt them. It'll hurt them militarily. They use the bridges for their weapons, for their missile movements. You know, they're trying to move the missiles because we've obliterated most of their missiles, and they're trying to move their missiles around, even during the ceasefire, which I think was a good thing because we're totally loaded up. We have so much ammo. We have so much of everything that we've, like, a much more powerful than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we've used this to restock, and they probably have done a little bit of restocking. We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it, which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know. But I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes, right? But I will tell you that we have, our military is incredible, what we've done. I mean, think of it. In the first 3 days, we took out their entire Navy, 159 ships, and wiped out their Air Force, wiped out their anti-aircraft, all of their anti-aircraft apparatus is all gone. All of their radar is gone. Their leaders are gone. You know, their leaders are gone. The whole thing is gone. And frankly, this should have been done a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier because they were a lot less lethal a long time ago.
So to be clear, you're saying that you need at least the prospects for a signed deal today and tomorrow, or else you would resume bombing Iran.
Well, I expect to be bombing because I think that's a better attitude to go in with. But you know, we're ready to go. I mean, the military is raring to go. They are absolutely incredible. You know, I built the military in my first term. I'm using it now. The military, when I took it over from Barack Hussein Obama, it was so depleted, so sad. And I built it in my first term. You remember those big numbers. You talked to me about it once. That's a lot of money for military. I built it. We did a great job with our military. And we're using it now and rebuilding it, too. We've done a lot of rebuilding also in my first year of the second term. But we have we have the most powerful military in the world. Everybody knows it.
Since we're kind of...
Yeah, here's some more on this.
We can't let traitors like Schumer put pressure on you where they say, we want out. Think how bad that is. I'm negotiating with these people, and they're telling us, we have to get out now, we have to get out now, we have to get now. And they were in a war for 18 years. They were in a war for, think of that, Vietnam, 19 years, Iraq, 8 years. So
right.
And I want to make a good deal. I'm not going to be rushed. I have all the time in the world. I want to make not a good deal. I want to make a great deal. I don't want to do this, go through this. And, I mean, if you look at this, what we've suffered in terms of losses, we lost 13 men, and that's terrible. I wish we didn't lose one. But if somebody would have said, we've done this and obliterated that country, obliterated it, and we lost 13 men, people would have said, that's not possible to have done that. It's not possible.
Right.
So we've done a great job, and I don't want to be rushed by people that are really treasonous as far as I'm concerned, where they're, and it's just, I watch this low IQ guy, Hakeem Jeffries. He's a totally low IQ person, and he's always ranting and raving, oh, this war is so terrible, terrible. They shouldn't be saying that when we're in the midst of a negotiation, because it does hurt us somewhat. It gives the other side some hope, and I don't want them to have hope.
Yeah. They're going to lose if information actually got to the people there. They'd be already strung up. It's about pure
place
evil.
right here in New York City. 38-year-old man. We have his picture. His name's Roman Amatitla. This man set fire to a building in New York City, and according to the New York Post, he stayed in the immediate area to watch people burn and jump from the windows while sipping his beer in what was described as an act of mass murder. 4 people died, and Mamdani won't give this guy to you. What is going on?
No, and that's sad. The fact that the district attorney is the one that labeled that crime as an act of mass murder and called this individual sinister. Here, like you said, you have someone drinking a beer, watching people jump out of a burning building. These are the public safety threats that ICE wants. And to use these type of heinous crimes that affect American citizens and legal immigrants all around the United States, and to use it as a political football is not public safety. I ask all elected officials, please stop playing the games and give these dangerous criminals to us, because we have the evidence. We asked for this individual, and he was not turned over.
Unreal. and yet they're going to protect them. But every single vote they're trying to get, they're desperate to win. This is funny. They can hear someone having sex at some tennis tournament. Hey, Colin.
Well,
hey, Tammy.
that is the most bizarre situation. I don't know how to put this, folks, but somebody's phone
doesn't turn out to be someone's phone
going off in the stands. And it was an adult video. I still hear it. It's still going. What is going on?
It can't be that good.
I think it would be hard to play if that was going on.
No, that's not a phone. That's an apartment across the lake.
That's pretty loud if it's that far away. I don't know. Unbelievable. There's a little
Down in the south, we see a flux in arrests as our two-tier policing are arresting more people for Facebook posts.
Oh, yeah, that's always happening in England these days, I tell you. I'm just kind of playing these in the order I downloaded them. A fight outside Kroger. It gets pretty serious here.
Oh shit! Meanwhile.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Don't dare anyone with a, try to block someone in the car with a foot on the gas pedal. This is another fight going on.
It's your girl. It's your girl. Your girl really fighting, bro. Oh shit!
What's society coming to? I tell you. Keep hitting that car and see what happens to you.
Oh shit! Oh, fuck this shit!
He's gonna back up on you. Hitting him with a hammer. I think with all the fan, it probably padded him a bit there. I guess he effed around, huh? Not the kind of people I'd hang out with, I tell you that. I wouldn't hang out with them, I tell you that.
Trump is literally Mangala. It's a fact because it's been fact checked.
No, this is real. It's the facts because I researched it.
The fact checker. According to them, refusing to foot the bill so those poor, incarcerated, gender-deluded murderers can continue cosmetically experimenting on themselves in jail means you're the one subjugating them to experimentation. This lady's penis was apparently a problem because the taxpayers refused to affirm her truth. So the only option is releasing the mutant back on the streets to probably shoot up schools like so many other victims whose truths weren't affirmed. What other logic can you expect when our super established fact checkers' identities are also based on a lie?
Good question. All right, here's a white firefighter that helped a black person that was overdosing. Then I believe he gets killed or harmed. I forget which.
Guys. Oh, the police are here now. Hey, buddy. He isn't responsive.
So he's helping this guy that's overdosed. Watch what happens, though.
Okay. Hey, bud. Hey, how you doing? They gave him Narcan and he popped right up. So I don't know if you guys want to do anything with that. Hey, Houston, buddy. I'm right here. You went unresponsive. And you're agonally breathing, which means like laborious, like pre-death breathing. They gave you a little bit of Narcan, which treats opioid overdose. I'm not saying that you did anything intentionally or illegal. What I'm going to do, bud, I'm going to pat you down, okay? You're not in any trouble, but I need to make sure nothing's going to happen with them, okay? All right?
Wait, I can't, I have to check myself first.
All right, check yourself, yourself?
Yeah.
All right.
Houston, real quick, do you have any weapons on you?
No, sir.
Okay. Kind of a bulge on your right side.
That's my phone.
Okay, don't reach for anything. Just kind of
that's my phone.
Hold on.
Look, man, I have a problem with officers touching me, man.
Okay.
Lift up your shirt then.
Sure.
I get nervous and stuff.
Can you lift your shirt up a little bit so I can see your face?
Everybody's safe.
Look, this is my...
Oh, not move. Stay right there.
Keep a cover on him.
We'll get you. Just stay there, okay, buddy? Get the ambulance up for the female.
36-year-old Mitchell Lungard is the first firefighter to be killed in the line of duty in Appleton in 86 years.
We're helping him. That's how bad it was. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Let me go with this one next. It's kind of an ad.
Maine Democrats were out there bragging, "We delivered for you."
We delivered. We delivered. We delivered. We delivered.
But here's exactly what they delivered. They delivered higher taxes, 32 to be exact. They delivered tens of millions of ongoing taxpayer funds to Planned Parenthood to funnel back into their campaigns and kill thousands of babies. For those allowed to be born,
this young lady's running for Congress. I'm hoping she wins.
They delivered 154 more dead children over the last 5 years, with DHHS involvement, more than the previous 14 years combined. They delivered energy costs still slamming Maine families due to unaffordable and unrealistic climate goals over sound policy. They delivered 31 cents per kilowatt hour electricity, when in just 2020, it was just 13.5 cents. That's a 128% increase over 6 years and just 36% over the last year. They delivered net energy billing so you can pay 5 times above market rates to out-of-state solar companies.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
They delivered a budget stabilization fund plundered of over $300 million from our emergency savings for $300 election year bribery checks to those who qualify, and even put our bond rating at risk, leaving Maine weaker when real trouble hits. They delivered plummeting education scores amid record spending, dropping from 19th to 43rd. They delivered $6 billion in Maine state and federal spending found to be questionable, according to the 2025 state audit and subsequent 2026 reports. They delivered the highest property taxes in the nation, crushing homeowners. They delivered a state budget that has almost doubled in 8 years, from $7 billion to $12 billion. They delivered hundreds of millions in fraud and improper payments with no accountability. They delivered boys into girls' locker rooms and men into women's prisons. And the list goes on and on.
We delivered. We delivered. It's been invigorating. It's been joyful. Thank you, Maine.
All white libtards.
We do this all for you.
This isn't delivery. This is a full-scale raid on Maine's future. Drain reserves, skyrocketing costs, dead children, broken schools, fraudulent spending, and the highest property taxes in America, all while our economy flatlines. Maine's GDP grew a pathetic 0.6% last year, fourth lowest in the nation.
Yeah, and I'm over on Wimpkin, I'm seeing less and less posting and stuff because they've taken down the video part of it.
And dead last in New England. That's not progress. That's the predictable result of bigger government.
Not that right now I can be over there that much right now. There's, I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm in message a lot more.
Higher taxes, aggressive regulations, and politically managed economic failure. What Democrats have delivered is an unaffordable Maine. Families are paying the price every single day in their utility bills, their property tax notices, their kids failing schools, and their shrinking.
Yeah, I tried to contact this lady to see if she'd come on, but she has never seen the message.
Paychecks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Enough with the empty press conferences and false claims of affordability. Maine deserves real relief. Sharp tax cuts, actual property tax relief, affordable energy, higher education standards, and pro-growth policies that put Maine families first, not special interests and radical agendas. I'll keep fighting for you. Maine families have had enough of the failed experiments. It is time for real results, real relief, and a government that finally works for the people of Maine, not against them.
We are seeing a lot more younger Republicans coming out now, and I'm impressed by a lot of them. I tell you that.
Lisa speaks first.
This is what's happening. I think it's Nigeria.
Why don't I
It's a Christian genocide. See the crosses in her ears and stuff like that? If you take a good look at her, you see they cut part of her arm off. Pure evil.
Azime kenyana be agure be winje azebe fara nenyi gembe daga chana bere be winje nenji daga vaji ngararichi kenya diwe harimbe ankpova arichana we anshirichi to uhona akichene kochena kwa unyibe ayanyizinyana azu
Last year,
See your arms gone? There's nothing they won't do. I tell you. Katie Hawk.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where there is a PS coming at the end of this. First up, it would have been the real Queen's 100th birthday today, and I think many of us can be agreeing that we are glad she's finally having a well-deserved rest and isn't around to see the shit show that this place has become, and or her alleged grandson pretending to have a royal tour in Sydney, where even a sunbather couldn't be asked to...
Yeah, I've tried to go live there, and I can't go on Wimpkin yet. I was wondering if anyone had heard any news about it.
Move for the trailer trash that is Meghan Markle. In other news, ministers are pretending they didn't know Mandelson was a snake, whereas us decent Brits knew that for decades. The question no one is asking, and why aren't they asking it, is who is it inside the civil service that was so desperate to ensure Peter Mandelson was made ambassador to America, and why? And finally, my darlings, another speaker has been banned from the United Kingdom rally because her presence here in this country would not be in the interests of the public good. At the same time, 603 illegal men from God knows where arrived on the Kent coastline. That's not counting the ones arriving in lorries by their thousands on a daily basis. And they are in the public good. Yes, that's right. A speaker from the US is not, but illegal migrants are. Expect to see them dumped in a village near you very soon. Oh yes, P.S. Friday.
And you'll be paying taxes to support them.
The 24th. Cardiff. We're going to be over 1,000 strong. And we're going to have a sing-song. If you can get there, get there. That's it. That's shit bonkers Britain.
Highest divorce rates, 2 women. Lowest divorce rates, 2 men. Highest rates of domestic violence, 2 women. Lowest rates of domestic violence, 2 men. 75 to 80%.
She's talking about what feminism has done to the family.
Of divorces filed by women. Top reasons: boredom, unhappiness, no longer compatible. Highest rates for maltreatment of children by women. Women consume social media at a far higher rate than men. Women are also 3 times more likely to deal with mental health issues than men. When you share these statistics, you are automatically labeled a misogynist pick-me who hates women. But fortunately, I care more about truth than being accepted by the sisterhood. I'm also not a girl's girl. I'm a woman's woman, which means taking radical responsibility and accountability for my own gender. And the truth is, we have a lot of work to do. What has happened instead is not only my generation, but the generations of women before us just constantly blame and deflect everything on men. You'll hear them say, well, if the men were good, if the men were better, if the men were more masculine, then we would be better women. And that's an extremely entitled take to say that your virtue only relies on men in society. With that attitude, you will actually never attract the men that you claim to want in society. If you are living a debaucherous lifestyle as a woman, you cannot turn around and say, it's men's fault that I don't have anyone to marry. It's men's fault that the dating pool is messed up. No, it's your fault. The best thing that you can do in your life is just to say, everything is my fault, and start taking radical responsibility for your own life instead of blaming and deflecting on everyone else.
Yep. And in Europe, they're eating cats and stuff and raping goats and sheep. This lady's talking about it here.
So in Italy, we have a Nigerian migrant who was just arrested for grilling a cat at a children's playground. In France, we have an Afghan refugee who was just arrested over a series of brutal rapes of sheep and goats. The sheep and goats were found with their legs tied and suffering injuries. And in England, a Palestinian refugee was arrested for attempting to rape a 14-year-old girl. And when asked why he did it, he said that according to Sharia law, raping a non-Muslim girl is legal. I only follow Allah and Sharia law. You know what this behavior is?
Yeah, we should import more of that into America.
World Islam. And now we have Spain and Italy opening their borders and granting legal status to 500,000 more of these migrants from countries that have a culture that do things like this. They're giving up their countries to barbaric savages. That's what this is. There's nothing humane, there's nothing kind, there's nothing virtuous about this. This has been led by leftist governments, leftist ideologies, leftist political parties, open borders, suicidal empathy.
That want to destroy America, want to destroy all the world so they can get 100% control.
America needs to pay close attention to what's happening in Europe and to learn from it. Women, I am talking to you, sacrificing your safety, your child's safety, and future generations' safety, so that a vulnerable community, or whatever you deem to be a vulnerable community can feel comfortable, can feel welcome. It's not kind. It's not doing what you think it's doing. It's not righteous. It's appeasing your own virtue and giving you a quick emotional fix, a quick emotional win, so that you can trick yourself into saying that you're doing a good thing. It's not a good thing. A good thing would be recognizing that America is unique on a global scale and we must protect it. Otherwise, we will fall to barbaric savages.
Does everyone remember when that reporter got attacked and pushed around, beat up a bit? And I forgot her name. Dang, I wish I could come up with it. Well, anyways, now the ones that are now getting charged and people are snapping back on them, they're trying to play the victim now.
Maybe you guys do get doxxed, but I don't know if you guys are getting the same type of stuff that we're getting. And it's nonstop. It's hundreds of phone calls a day. It's text messages and them trying to get into all of our social media accounts and contacting our friends, our neighbors, our family. The rest of our family is getting doxxed as well. It's not just us. It's my sons, their wives, like people that have nothing to do with anything. It's a little overwhelming and it makes me second guess even living in this country, to be honest with you, with all this going on. I've never had this happen in my life.
So let's go ahead and unpack this a little bit. This family assaults a young lady and is receiving backlash for that assault.
And they're getting money to do that too.
Assault that was caught from multiple angles. And yet somehow they're the victim. That's crazy. These types of people just fail to realize that there are consequences for your actions, and they are suffering the consequences of their actions. And unfortunately, there are casualties of war, and their friends and their family are falling victim to it for their ignorance.
Oh, they were something else. They were trying to hurt her, you know. That's how they try to shut you up with the Marxist leftist color revolution. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, here's some woman that used to work at Planned Parenthood and are exposing everything that's going on in there.
The mission and vision of Planned Parenthood. I was really strong about protecting women's right to choose and whatnot.
Basically, working in the industry, you learn a whole lot that you don't see just being on the outside. And once I really understood the agenda and watched what really goes on inside, I just felt ashamed to even be a part of that. I saw a lot of horrific things. I participated in a lot of horrific things, and I've learned that I became really dark.
I saw a 26-week baby be born alive inside of our clinic and drowned in a toilet. I'm sorry to be graphic, but I'm being honest. And that's when my views definitely changed.
So the baby was alive, and they put it in the toilet and drowned it.
Gosnell did a 30-weeker.
They wanted the body parts.
And that really hurt me. Beautiful boy. He could have made it. He had a chance, and it was taken from him. So I couldn't take it no more. And I'm sure in the case, people saw pictures. That was one of the pictures was the one I've submitted because I had to get justice for him.
One of our clients passed away at the hospital,
I believe it was from negligence from the doctor. I didn't see a lot of rape in the clinic. I saw a lot of young women coming back over and over again, every 2 months, every 3 months, like it was birth control. I just realized that I didn't want to live like this and be like this anymore. And I was consumed by evil for 3 years, and I felt stuck. I felt I didn't have a way out until I just cried out to God and I asked him, I need a way out. I can't do this anymore.
I realized that wasn't it, that abortion was just a business, that abortion was harming women, and the babies were being treated like trash.
To those who are still working in the abortion industry, I have to tell you, get out while you can. I don't want you to end up like me, having gone through mental situations, mental issues. I had to learn how to sleep in the dark again.
At that time, I had to make a conscious decision if I wanted to live or die, because it became very depressing. I became very suicidal.
When I was sleeping, that same baby that Gosnell took, I was seeing him in my dreams. I had to learn to deal with that.
And I started realizing that there is another side of this, and I found it.
All life matters, and that industry is a demonic thing.
Yep. All right. Here's an Iranian woman. She starts out saying what the left is saying and then explaining why it's wrong. There's an Iranian woman who lived there.
Israel and America shot down 5 schools in Iran yesterday, killing hundreds of civilians. Yeah, no, that's not what happened. But now that I got your attention, let me tell you what did happen yesterday. Ahmad Khodai, a civilian, was killed by IRGC yesterday. No, he wasn't executed, he wasn't shot to death, and he wasn't beaten to death. He actually took his own life. Early January, when the massacre was happening in Iran, Ahmad and his beautiful wife Saleh helped out a lot of wounded people hide in their house. When the IRGC officers found out, they broke in.
They stabbed her in the heart. They jailed him, beat him up, broke several bones and ribs and this and that. While after they stabbed her in the heart, they raped the dead body. They had sex with the dead body. And then they filmed it, and they used the woman's hand of the dead body to get themselves off as well. And then after they got this guy out of jail finally in 3 weeks, after, even with all the broken bones, they sent all the videos and stuff to him to show him. I think they were showing it to him while he was in there. And then he committed suicide.
And beaten Ahmad almost to death. And when his beautiful wife Saleh had got in the middle to save his life, they shot her to death in front of their 8-year-old daughter. Oh, it gets better. After a while, they used her phone, the wife's phone, to send Ahmad videos and pictures of her dead body, being raped and molested by the IRGC officers. After having to live without her for a couple of months and now watching her dead body be raped, he couldn't take it anymore and he took his own life yesterday. For those of you that are so goddamn worried about Israel and America killing civilians in Iran, wake the fuck up! Islamic Republic in Iran is killing civilians every single day. Fuck the Islamic Republic and all of its supporters.
Amen. Here's Nick Shirley confronting the people in California.
Here's one of the authors of the bill. How are you guys doing? We just want to ask you about the bill and why you guys would pass this bill that really is an attack on free speech.
I am not even sure what you're talking about. Really? You said an author. I don't think.
Yes. Did you sign to pass this bill? The AB 26?
No, I don't
24?
know what you're talking about.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You do not.
No,
are you
guys
serious?
are just talking about.
We're talking about something random. Okay. Sasha, how are you doing? We just want to ask you about the bill AB 2624. Why would you sign off?
A lot of these women look like they're leftists not that far out of college.
Up on that. It's a direct violation of the First Amendment, and it makes it harder for people to expose fraud here.
We have Ledge Council. They check the constitutionality of all our bills as we're writing them. I work on fraud issues. You'd know that if you look at some of the work I did on the budget subcommittee.
Amazing. So Mia Bonta, her husband's Attorney General of the Attorney General of California, and it was only until I exposed fraud that they actually cracked down on the fraud and made some arrests here. especially with the hospices. And do you know that if this bill were to pass, it'd make it illegal for someone to go after fraud, especially if it's based off of immigrants, for instance, Armenians in California?
No,
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a misinterpretation of the bill, but I'm happy to talk with you more about it. And fraud and investigations into fraud.
John, I'll probably do more on that story tomorrow. I got another clip where the guy reads the guy's suicide note before he killed himself.
Something that's been happening for a very long time. The Attorney General handles those cases. This is an ongoing issue.
It's a little weird that the wife of the Attorney General, Mia Bonta, is now pushing this bill that literally goes against the First Amendment.
No, I actually don't. I don't think that this bill violates the First Amendment. I mean,
Really?
that's the whole purpose. We have ledge counsel and ledge attorneys that talk with us about this. Constitutionality is really important to the work.
So your bill criminalizes publication of images recorded in public. Do you believe the government has the right to punish journalists for filming in public space?
No, I think that is a complete misinterpretation of actually the piece of legislation.
That is not. That's literally what happened. Speaker Rivas, how are you doing? What do you think about the Stop Nick Shirley Act, AB 2624?
I don't know anything about it.
And do you think there's any conflict of interest there with Mia Bonta and her husband being the AG?
They know they got the power. They'll just cram it through in California.
Shows you everything you need to know. These people won't even...
So they can keep stealing from us and money laundering.
Answer the questions. So you signed off, you're a co-author of the AB 2624 bill. What made you want to sign off on this bill that would literally make it so NGOs don't have to disclose their money?
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look at the materials from that committee hearing.
Okay, and what for instance, just answer the question. Why does your bill apply to organizations receiving taxpayer money? Shouldn't publicly funded entities have more transparency, not less?
Restate the question?
Yeah, so entities that receive money from the government, shouldn't there be more transparency and not less?
I think we want to make sure that we are being accountable to public funds.
Yes, and so you signed off on a bill that would make that harder to have transparency.
Well, I don't think I see it that way. I think that we're making sure that, all of our systems are able to get the money out to community and that there's transparency and accountability.
So they can get all the money out so they can get their money back.
Incorporated.
But you're literally signed off on a bill that would make it for less transparency, sir.
That's debatable, and I don't
It's not debatable. They're going for immigration-based services. They're trying to make it harder for money to be disclosed.
Thanks.
Look, they just run off. How are you doing?
I just want to say hi. So, great work. Very proud of what you're doing.
And how come you think that they're just signed off on a bill that would make it harder for organizations that receive taxpayer dollars to be...
I don't agree with it. I think you're on the right track. This is an attack. It should not be. It's not right. You're doing well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're a co-author of the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Oh, you know who I am. My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am. You signed off on the AB 2624 Act. Can you tell us about what you did on that?
I don't even know who you are.
Well, my name's Nick Shirley. But either way, can you tell me about this assembly bill you're trying to pass?
Shirley?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
But could you please just answer any question about the AB 2624 bill? A lot of people are worried about that it's going to stop fraud investigations. But you're the one who signed off and you're a co-author of it. These people are crazy. They can't even answer questions about the bills that they're co-authoring. Hello, Mr. Lowenthal.
They know damn well they can just cram it up your butt.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing great. How do you feel about proposing a bill that would put $10,000 fines and potential jail time for publishing a video from a parking lot?
Wait, can you say that to me again?
Yeah, so AB 2624, if a journalist were to go and investigate fraud in an immigrant service company, essentially, from the government that receives taxpayer dollars, they could potentially risk receiving a $10,000 fine.
Slapper, yeah.
With this bill you guys are trying to pass.
Well, I need to read the bill.
But you signed off on the bill. You passed.
You need to read the bill. They just will not answer that question on camera. They won't do it.
Pass the bill.
But they'll still cram it through because they want all those billions of dollars keep coming through, and it keeps them in power.
What do you mean I passed the bill? I don't know.
It's gone through two times, and it's been passed.
What 2 times? Where are you referring to? Are you referring to committees?
Yes.
Which committees?
I can tell you right here if you give me a second. But
speaking of committee, I'm in the privacy committee right now, but I don't think that bill has passed before my case.
he's a co-author of it. He's a co-author of that bill. What's your thoughts on this AB 2624?
Well, they sure know how to play really dumb when they have to. If you had some real journalist and get them like on the TV shows, and then they ask them instead of the prepared questions, these types of questions, they'd squirm a lot.
Bill.
But they wouldn't answer it.
Any response? Like, what would make you guys want to pass this?
Thank you.
Do you think it makes it harder for fraud to get discovered here in the United States? Why can't you guys just answer our questions? You guys are the ones
This guy seems to be the same security guard that's escorting him.
who are signing off on these bills. So what do you think about the Stop Nick Shirley Act, AB 2624? You don't know much about it? Or?
I don't know if I know that.
Oh, well, can I tell you a little bit about it?
I'm okay.
So you should know about it, though, because it's kind of your job.
She knows damn well she's getting money from it and keeps her in power.
So the Stop Nick Shirley Act, what it does is it shields immigrant... Oh, all right, we can keep following you. The Stop Nick Shirley Act shields immigration nonprofit workers from public record disclosure. It criminalizes publishing images and videos of covered workers, even taken in public, grants covered orgs power to demand video takedowns, imposes a fourth...
So not one person so far has answered it. Why they're supporting it.
$1,000 civil, $10,000 criminal, $50,000 felony fines per violation applies to taxpayer-funded organizations. Would you support a bill that allows all that to take place? It is your job. Would you support a bill? Yes or no, ma'am?
Can you take
Thank
that
you,
out of
baby.
our
It was
face?
so good to meet you. I hope you have a great day.
Ma'am, you're literally working for us, but you won't even answer our own questions. Like, these people get paid by our tax dollars, yet they can't even answer anything. This is super important. People have a lot of questions about the AB 2624 Act,
So this bill,
aka the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Tell us about it.
well, there is no Stop Nick Shirley Act, but the author's not here today, but I hope you can find her.
But you're a co-author of this.
I'm a co-author of many, many bills that protect vulnerable communities in California.
Good, so you should know a lot about this bill.
Also, somehow it's hurting a vulnerable community. Bullcrap. It's affecting their pocketbook.
For instance, it shields immigration.
Hold on one. Hey.
I hate to disrupt the phone call, but this is important. Wait, come on. Look at that. These guys really just don't want to answer any of the questions. These people won't even answer questions about the bills they're co-authoring.
Eventually, they'll make it illegal so they can't even walk on the sidewalk and ask him.
Welcome to Sacramento. You know, I appreciate you exposing waste, fraud, and abuse. It is rampant in California, just like in Minnesota. And if it wasn't for independent journalists like you, that would not be happening in our state.
I bet you she's not on the payroll like the other ones are.
And I applaud you for doing it. And welcome to Sacramento.
Well, these people are literally signing off on these bills and they're acting like they don't have any idea what it is, when it really is a direct violation of the First Amendment.
Most of them don't read the bills, but they know what it is. The people that you talk to that co-authored the bill, they know what it is.
Well, Marianne, if they don't know what's in it, someone above them that tells them what to vote for and not to vote for knows what's in it.
It's criminal. And then to think that they're getting paid from the taxpayers of California.
I mean, the bill actually says Stop Nick Shirley Act.
Yeah, yet they can't even answer any questions about these bills that they are co-authors of.
A lot of times when the media will approach them, they deflect often, and that's just the job that they do. And
exactly what they're doing now.
And they'll continue to vote. And it's ironic, like I'm the author of SB.
Any chance Newsom's going to veto it? Not a chance in the world.
14, it's made it a strikeable offense to make sex trafficking of a minor a strike offense in the state of California. And Mia Bonta, we had to get the governor engaged to reverse her decision on the committee to not criminalize sex traffickers, but she wants to criminalize you. That's an ironic situation, huh?
That is very ironic. So the AG's wife, the Attorney General's wife, Mia Bonta, she wanted to protect sex traffickers.
She wouldn't vote, and she did not pass a bill in committee a couple of years ago to make sex trafficking a minor child a serious strikeable offense. So if you get a strike and 3 strikes, your life in prison. She wouldn't vote for it. The governor engaged in that process. The next week, they passed it out of committee.
So I guess you're okay the first 2 times. That's getting caught. Now, how many times you're doing it? You might do it more than that. But once you're caught 2 times, you can't do it the third time. Okay.
committee, but she wouldn't.
But she doesn't even want that.
Criminalize sex traffickers, but she'll criminalize people like you.
That is insane. Mia Bonta, she sounds like quite the lady.
You should meet her one day.
She didn't show up to her own job today, Mia Bonta, didn't it?
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, is this Scott Wiener right here?
Yep, yes he is.
Yes.
Scott Wiener, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Can you give us your opinion?
Capital.
Thank you very much. Can you give us your opinion really quick on AB 2624?
I think you're a psycho scam artist. So
You think please disclose how you think that. Look how they just run away. These guys are fools. It would suck to have the last name Wiener anyways. So right there, you have literal co-authors who will not give answers to the bill that they are a part of. Some even said they aren't even co-authors of the bill.
Yep. All right, here's about that vote on Fairfax County there, in Virginia there, where they held back their vote to see how many they needed.
Right now, the no in Virginia is winning by a lot, but Fairfax County, one of the biggest blue counties in Virginia, is not reporting any votes. You know why they're not reporting any votes? Because Fairfax County is trying to figure out how many votes they need to manufacture to win. They're trying to let all these red counties
I hope they're going
get
to
their
hell.
votes in so they know how many votes they need. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, a lot of the reasons why there are thousands of pages too is they put other crap in there too, and legalese and stuff like that. So it's hard to understand the bill, but they know what they're putting in there.
On election night, this is what Democrats do, right? How are there's zero votes counted, all these other counties. You know why? Because they're waiting to see how many votes they need to come up with in order to win. It should be illegal. It's cheating. And we know they're cheating. We see it right now happening in real time. And it's disgusting. There was record turnout in these red areas and these rural areas, and they're trying to figure out how to stop it with more vote, with more mail. It's going to be mail-in.
It sounds like even the Supreme Court of Virginia is going to slap it down, though.
Ballots, probably.
I'm hoping. I don't know. You can't always trust it, though. I don't know. This lady's always good.
You can't make this shit up if we tried. I don't know what's funnier. The Southern Poverty Law Center getting busted for literally handing the liberals money that they donate to the Southern Poverty Law Center and giving that to the and they call MAGA the racists. And they're the ones funding it. Literally, to manufacture fake hate crimes.
Why? They can raise a lot more money that way. Then they can use that money to go after us. That's what they're using that money for. And it's a non-taxable thing. They got to get rid of they got to get rid of NGOs. There should not be any such thing. It's been such abused. All right, now this one, hopefully Colin's around. This has happened in Ireland. So several men broke into a woman's place, raped her, this and that, and she said something about him, and now they're taking her to court, her and her family.
We're here outside a criminal court.
She'll end up getting a year in jail for this.
We're here outside a criminal court of justice today. I think we're probably all a little shocked. Lisa Temple has been sentenced to 12 months imprisonment and has been taken away and incarcerated. It's the culmination of years, many, many years of, I think, torment in the court system. I think of gross injustice, of abuse, of process, of targeting, of people avoiding responsibility. Anyway, Lisa has gone in.
Sex offenders got suspended sentences. They need to spend a day in jail.
And is serving a 12-month sentence. Yet there are some options we'll go through. Now, she had prepared a statement she wanted to read to people had she had that opportunity, but she doesn't have it. But in her place, she had asked that Karen would read her work.
Or if it's a lot more than 2 pages, John, should be studied a lot longer. It shouldn't be so rushed through. It should give the people much more time to go through it.
Which we will do. But before we do that, Lily, Lisa's daughter, Lily, how do you feel today?
I'm incredibly proud of my mom. My sister and I have stood with her and watched these what felt like endless years of abuse. And through everything, she's done it with such impeccable grace and strength. And I can only hope that each of us who've been invited into this or are watching are able to stand with the same amount of grace and strength. And I'm really glad that we're able to read her words while her liberty's
One
been
line,
taken away.
right? Yeah.
Thanks, Lily. And of course, Lisa did have the foresight to set down her wishes. So she's an intelligent lady. She hasn't gone blindly. It's terrible that she is locked up, but she chose her path and could have yielded. She could have yielded her last strength, but she didn't. Anyway, Karen, would you mind giving us Lisa's word?
Absolutely. I make this statement so that the public may hear, in my own words, what has occurred, beyond speculation, misrepresentation, or partial reporting. In my view, what has happened amounts to a miscarriage of injustice. In March 2022, a forced eviction took place at my family home. It was a small home, a 3-bedroom house in a cul-de-sac with no front garden, only a narrow patch of ground and a short driveway, and an exceedingly small back garden enclosed by neighbouring properties. Both I and one of my children were present at the time. My child was in her bedroom studying for her leaving cert, an exam she never completed. The effects of that day and what has happened since remaining with her, and in fact with both of my daughters. Multiple men entered our small family home. Most were masked. Excessive force was used, and we were extremely frightened. Members of An Garda Síochána were present outside, yet when my child first and then I sought their help, no help came. Entry was made through both the front and the back of the house. The back was accessed through a private lane at the back of the neighbouring gardens, and the back door was opened using a tool. The front door was forced through locked access. This happened within seconds in a confined space with no warning and no time to understand what was happening. In that moment, our home was being taken from us in a way that made us homeless. According to the Book of Evidence, there was a period of close to 1 hour during which I and my child remained inside the house while these individuals were present. It is difficult to convey the effect of what occurred in that 1 hour. During what followed, I was trying to identify those who had entered our home by force and those responsible for what was happening. In that moment, when I was struck, I reacted defensively. It was in those circumstances that the altercation occurred. What I experienced in that moment was fear, confusion, and distress. It is not easy to explain the physical response to such force. It is not easy to explain what happens to the mind and body when strangers force their way into your home, when you are faced with numbers, aggression, and no protection. It does not leave you, and now, depending on what happens, may never leave me and my daughters. If the Book of Evidence were to be fully examined, the disparities within the material would be apparent. Material that no barrister or legal team had the opportunity to carefully review on my behalf during the process. Material that was, in fact, contradicted by prosecution witnesses during my trial. Afterwards, I attended at a Garda station in a state of confusion and distress. I repeatedly told Garda
they need all those places for the illegals
that I was suffering and that I needed access to my own doctor. My daughter also attended and made clear that I was affected in this way. I was not afforded what I needed to understand, to steady myself, or to participate properly. Instead, the process continued around me. My DNA was taken against my consent. My fingerprints were taken against my consent. This is also evidenced. I did not feel heard, accommodated, or treated with care that a person in evident distress should have been shown. I did not feel that any reasonable accommodation was made for me in my condition or for the state I was in at that time. There are also, witnessed accounts concerning my daughter being left by the roadside in the aftermath of what had happened. That remains a matter of deep concern. My child was not a bystander. She was a child in the middle of horror, and I want the public and all involved to be fully aware of this fact. Charges were filed after the altercation, even though not everyone was questioned, and the investigation lacked thoroughness. I was arrested, but I doubt the events of that day were fully reviewed. The trial that happened in March of this year placed me in a position where I had to represent myself. I travelled a 6-hour round trip each day for 5 full days. The strain was constant. I did my best to remain composed and to engage with the process, but I did not feel that I was fully heard or understood. I also had to relive trauma in the courtroom when I was cross-examining those who had put me and my child in fear. In relation to the court process, among my concerns was that a plea was entered in on my behalf. I did not fully understand the charges against me, and I did not at any time enter a plea for myself. In my view, the process did not unfold in a way that I could properly follow, participate in, or defend myself. Throughout the trial, I did everything I could to bring forward the truth of what had occurred. I tried to challenge material that was incomplete or inconsistent. I tried to defend myself in circumstances where I had neither the protection nor the preparation that any person facing such consequences should have. My child Anu was central to what happened. She was present during the eviction and affected by it. But I could not ask her to relive that experience by placing her on the stand. I could not re-traumatize my own child to defend myself. My other daughter, Lily, has also shown immense strength throughout this ordeal. Both of my daughters have remained dignified, supportive, and brave. I am proud of them beyond words. There were, of course, other pressures. Things were said about me and the media that are not true. Those things were allowed to circulate by both media and social media. This caused further injury to my name and to my family. There were also those who offered help, and in one case were paid to help, but did not do what they said they would do, and refused to repay me. This caused further distress and financial hardship at a time when we were, and continue to be, under strain. For clarity, there are further matters connected to the loss of our home, including mortgage arrears and the non-payment of my children's father of court-ordered maintenance and mortgage contributions. I believe that the full circumstances of what has occurred have yet to be carefully considered. The protections set out under Article 6 of the European Convention on Human Rights and under the Irish Constitution must mean something real. Fair procedures, proper scrutiny of evidence, the right to understand the case, the right to prepare, and the right to be heard are the minimum that justice requires. I want to thank those who stood by me and my family, those who attended court, those who offered support, kindness and decency when we needed it most. I want especially to thank Dermot, who stood by me and my daughters throughout the trial and who I know will continue to do so as our now trusted friend. I ask the public to inform themselves of the facts where they can. I ask the media to report this case with care, fairness and responsibility. I hold no hatred towards those involved. I forgive them. But forgiveness does not erase what my family has lived through. I ask only that what has happened be properly understood. I ask for understanding instead of judgment. And I ask this: if such force entered your home, if your child witnessed and suffered from it, and everything followed from that moment, would you be certain that you would have responded any differently to how I did? A 5'3" mother and woman in the middle of losing her children's home as multiple men, along with those directing them, entered and took it by force? And it is for that same fear and that same moment of intimidation that I was brought before the court, prosecuted and sentenced, a conclusion that does not reflect the full truth of what occurred. I ask for continued support and understanding for me and my daughters. Thank you.
Got some really cake judges over there in England, I tell you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Lily. Those are very powerful words from Lisa, and she penned those words before her conviction and incarceration. This was her foresight. So we have to stand actually in awe, really, of how a woman can have such strength of character in the face of aversion and then say, I forgive you. Lisa has been honourable and truthful throughout
A lot's happening in Britain there, Colin.
this, and all those with responsibility in our society for justice, in the legal profession, in the courts, in court services, in An Garda Síochána, have reneged on their duty of service to the people. They have reneged on their duty to uphold the truth, to uphold our constitution, to uphold the law. Lisa is holding, the judge did say to Lisa, if she signs a bond, he would release her. But she's refusing to accept this, as she calls it, contract with the state.
Kath and Donnie, come over to Rumble and comment. Everyone can see the comments that way.
With the court, like rubber stamping her guilt of something when she has no guilt. So she's holding by her principle. She's going to fight on. We'll see. She will reflect, and we won't prejudge her next course of action. But this case, as we have said before, and as she has said, this affects us all. There are countless families facing eviction who are railroaded through the court system, thousands of them in the last while. I think the sheriff involved in this case said in 1 year he had done over 300 cases, evictions. So are we going to treat people in such a cavalier, unjust
What's happening is they're taking a lot of their properties so they can move illegals into them.
manner? Is that the value that the people of Ireland uphold as justice, that we should bully the weak in some respects, although Lisa's hardly weak in character, if weak in circumstances, that she has been bullied, grossly bullied. Anyway, our best wishes go to Lily. We ask you, maybe watch this, read these words again, and perhaps we can publish these words as a comment under the video here. Read them. They're telling, they're truthful, because we must draw lessons. If we don't draw lessons from this, then what use is it? What is it for? So please share. Please stand yourselves for truth. Don't accept bullying. Don't be pushed around. We are citizens. We have rights. We're entitled to basic dignity and our liberty. Lisa offended nobody. They even said this in court today. She hurt nobody. She had a massive tax, a parking ticket or something like that. This is this criminal that we, the state, the Irish people, in our name, is now being incarcerated for 12 months for. A danger to the public. Wow. God help the poor public. This is an injustice. Anyway, I don't want to go on. Lily, do you have any final word?
Love you, Mama.
Yes. Very profound. Yes.
We send you all our love, Lisa. You know you have our support.
Lisa, you have our continued support. We will stay with you and try to uphold justice in Ireland.
Okay, here's the speak I ran across here, and he's talking about all this that's happening in Europe, this whole issue.
The European welfare state is imploding. It turns out extortionate taxes, regulatory straitjackets, replacing coal with pixie farts, and importing the third world do not, in fact, make your country rich. European voters are starting to notice. Last week, the Irish government barely survived a vote of no confidence after nationwide protests that blocked major Irish cities and which 56% of voters supported. The spark was diesel prices up 20% since the Iran war, but they kept going even after the government paused diesel taxes, which our Congress has not done, because the real anger was rising food prices and downright comical housing costs. Rents in Dublin now consume half of paychecks, roughly double the rate in the U.S., largely driven by mass migration to Ireland, so now Dublin is nearly one-third foreign-born. For a 20-something, it means they're taking home less than 3,000 euros a month and spending almost...
In just one generation, one-third of the population was not born there.
2,000 on a studio apartment. A recent house sale in Dublin...
That's why they're having a hard time with housing. Plus, they're moving all these illegals in and taking people's houses.
Made international news as hundreds of people lined up for blocks to buy for a completely normal brick house. One recent study found 1.3 million people in Ireland want a house. It's about a quarter of the population, which at current rates of construction is roughly 40 years of construction. By amazing coincidence, 1.3 million also happens to be the foreign-born population of Ireland. Next up is Britain, which
I wonder how that math works.
last week announced welfare payments now exceed income tax receipts for the first time in history, also driven by soaring migrant payments. In one hilarious clip, the BBC interviewed a Black Londoner hoping to get a juicy quote about cruel welfare cuts. Instead, he went off how he works hard and takes home $1,600 a month, but his buddy sits on the couch and makes $1,400 and he's had enough of it. And then Germany, who's supposed to be the adult in the room, the Bundesbank, which is Germany's Federal Reserve, released a new report warning of a, quote, debt spiral, with federal debt jumping nearly $1 trillion in U.S. GDP terms. That's a problem given the German economy is limping along at 0.3% growth, roughly 7 to 10 times slower than the U.S. If debt's jumping by $1 trillion and the economy is not, you are living on borrowed time. So what's driving all this? An empire of tax and red tape that killed Europe's golden goose, taking growth to Japan levels, paired with importing at least 15 million third world migrants, of whom roughly 80% go on government welfare. A recent Dutch study estimated mass migration costs $500 billion in U.S. GDP terms. That is $10 trillion over the next 20 years in U.S. terms. So what's next? European voters are waking up. A poll last week found Germany's right populist AfD is now the largest party in the country by a significant margin. Britain's right populist...
But they'll try anything. They're going to even try to arrest him for racism or some bull crap in Germany to keep AfD from winning. They'll try anything and everything.
Parties, Reform and Restore, now outpoll both major parties combined.
AfD, for those who don't know it, is the German Nationalist Party, but they're not nationalists like Russian. They're Christian nationalists. They want to close their borders. That's what they want to do.
According to prediction market Kalshi, Reform is by far the most likely to form the next British government at 41% versus 24% for Labour.
Colin, do you think that's going to happen? Reform's going to win in England? Although they probably will stall on giving an election.
And 13% for the traditional Tory Conservatives. What's interesting about Europe is, unlike America's intentionally sclerotic political system, where Obama judges and the filibuster block anything that bothers the establishment, Europe has parliamentary systems with much more power for whoever wins the election. This means when European voters' patience runs out, the pendulum will swing much harder. Follow for daily videos. Okay, we'll be watching.
I got some more videos by this guy. I thought they were pretty good, actually.
According to a new study, liberal men are going extinct, checking out of the gene pool, while conservative men keep on trucking, sustaining the human race against all odds. A new study by the Institute for Family Studies found
same thing with women, too.
Liberal men have less than 0.5 children each, while conservative men have 2.14. As in every generation, roughly 80% of liberal men check out of the gene pool Darwin Awards for everyone. But different, roughly 1 in 8 newborns has a liberal father. In case you wonder about all those progressive TikTokers complaining about their Trumper dad, because roughly nobody has a liberal father. As in, those TikTokers are only alive to complain about their conservative dad because he is conservative. For women, the gap is almost as bad. 1.7 kids for conservative women, 0.8 for liberals. Almost half of liberal women never have kids. Keep in mind, liberals includes migrants who have a lot of kids. Take them out, and liberal women might be under half a kid. Now, liberals never had kids. It's the me ideology, but the gap has exploded.
Well, what they've been importing in most of these countries are males, fighting age males.
Since the 1980s. So back then, conservative women actually had fewer than today. They had 1.4, while liberals were basically the same at 1.3. The reason it collapsed, of course, is liberal education and media spent decades trashing the family, championing the girl boss, who parties her body count away till she's way past the wall. A recent NBC News poll found for Gen Z who voted for Kamala, getting married and having kids was almost
They hate the family.
dead last in their, quote, personal
You can't
definition of
program it.
success. Meanwhile, for Gen Z men who voted for Trump, having children is the most important thing in their personal definition of success, according to that poll. Now, a conservative might celebrate this. 7 out of 8 kids raised conservative hearkens good things for the future of the republic. Alas, meet public schools, the ideological wood chipper into which roughly 90% of those conservative kids will be fed. 12 years of state-sponsored indoctrination, followed by 4 years of colleges run by Marxists. Polls find public schools turn students liberal by 4-1, meaning 1 in 8 liberal flips to 4 in 5 liberal. University alone tacks on another 10 points, the difference between New Jersey and Georgia. In other words, liberal parents are checking out, but liberal teachers have the kids. The easy solution is give education back to parents, replace public schools with vouchers, and cut off the government grants that turn universities into Marxist zoos. So what's next? The left's near total control of education and media are wiping out conservative thought among kids and literally wiping out liberal kids. Happily, Hollywood's imploding, and we've now got conservative media that celebrates marriage and kids, the meaning kids give to life, the fact marriage almost triples income, men get their act together, the fact that having someone to grow old with is the single healthiest decision you make in life. Meanwhile, we've got growing tools to hand education back to parents in red states, implementing vouchers, and of course, homeschooling parents, which is what we chose. Still, the kids we've already got are the future voters. We're looking at a lost generation ideologically and literally, courtesy of government schools and liberal media. Follow for daily videos. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
This guy's pretty good, actually. I think pretty spot on. Tommy Robinson talking about banning the Muslim Brotherhood.
Let me tell you why countries like the United Arab Emirates have no terrorism problems, and countries like France and Europe have loads of terrorism problems. The Muslim Brotherhood are having a conference. Let me see how you spell it. In Le Bourget. Is that how you say it? Le Bourget. Le Bourget. Some French town anyway, yeah? The Muslim Brotherhood are having a conference where they give out literature and books. Just say that out loud again. The Muslim Brotherhood are having a fucking conference in France. A big, massive seminar, conference, educational, indoctrination, handing out books, leaflets, recruitment drive, where they, in the books, there's incitement to violence, dehumanization, justifying violence against children, undermining women's rights. All of these things, yeah, are in a conference in France. And they wonder why they've got so many problems. Why are the Muslim Brotherhood allowed to operate in Europe? Why? Why? And that is why we've got so much terrorists. And that's why Dubai, UAE, other Islamic nations don't have, because they don't allow it. It's mental. It's no future for France. I'm just reading what else they've got there, look. It's just about them controlling the education. It's a terrorist organisation. The subjugation of women. They totally insult European women. How is the Muslim Brotherhood operating in France? How is it operating in Britain? How has it not been banned? How? When you think of what's gone on in all of these countries, yeah? The Muslim Brotherhood are supporting and orchestrating terrorism in Sudan, all over the Middle East, yeah? All over the Middle East. It's a pure front for incitement to violent jihad. It's total hate speech. And they're not hiding it. They're having big open conferences and handing out loads of literature and recruitment. So that is why France is a mess, is why Europe's a mess, is why Britain's a mess. Check out, I just ask again, there's so many different groups. There's so, like Le Pen's party. How is this shit allowed? How is it allowed? How are they not already a prescribed terrorist organisation in every Western nation? Mental.
Yeah, good question. In any case, just keep letting them in, giving them free money, having 4 wives. That really works really well. All right, there's some real horror in Ireland. 2 illegals were beating up this Irishman. They were beating him to death. Luckily, eventually, some people start getting out of their cars and stuff and trying to stop it.
Yeah? It looks like 3 of them. What's going on? I'm blind, that's the only camera to see on there. They stopping them. Right.
See yours on the later.
What's going on? Who's hitting them with it? Oh no, it's just a fan. What the fuck?
One lady's recording it.
Is he that? No, he's just hitting it. Foreigners again, are they? Yeah. Oh, kicking him in the head. Is that an Irish fella there hitting? Oh! He's dead. Oh, he has big work boots on. Oh, here's someone running over to them. Oh, he's dead. No, he's dead. Yeah, hopefully that's not good. Oh, scummy cunts. Look at his big fucking boots on.
Unbelievable. All right, this is also this is the officials in Ireland, prison officers.
This is absolute abuse. Absolute abuse of Enoch Burke.
Enoch Burke has been removed now unlawfully from the hearing room by the prison officers at the request of the DAP panel.
Yes, who wants to continue with a
This
barrister.
is an absolute scandal.
Barra Faunan, totally contrary to law, and Fiona.
And Miss Fiona Shields, she's a solicitor with
Yes, a
the
solicitor
Mason,
with Mason
Hayes
Hayes.
and Curran legal firm from Dublin. So that's what's just happened there. Enoch simply objected to the presence of these people.
Yes, and the
room.
chair, Claire Callanan, is
Yes.
using bully tactics.
Yes.
She's forcing Enoch Burke to continue with a barrister and a solicitor on the other side.
In the room and representing the Board of Management. This is something that's totally contrary to the process provided by the circular, which says that it should be informal. It's totally contrary to settled law in this area.
So the disciplinary panel is sitting in here. Claire Callanan has asked for Enoch Burke to be removed. Bully boy tactics have been used continually. They've abused him, they've bullied him.
This is totally contrary to law. It's contrary to law, and it's contrary to the Department of Education circular, and it's contrary to the practice of the disciplinary appeal panel. The names of the people who are representing the Board of Management, it's Barra Faunan, barrister, and Fiona Shields, solicitor. She's from Mason, Hayes and Curran, a legal firm in Dublin. And the chair of this DAP now is Claire Callanan, and she's ordered the prison officers to remove Enoch from the room.
But he won't continue under these unlawful conditions.
Yes, it's simply absolutely scandalous.
It's abusive.
That he's coming in here
Abusive,
now with his appeal. It's an education disciplinary matter appeal. It's supposed to be informal. It's supposed to be him on one side, the teacher, and he chose to represent himself, facing the Board of Management. That's what the circular says, the chairperson, and a serving member of the board to help the chairperson on the other side. Instead, what happens? He came in here this morning, and it's a solicitor and a barrister that are taking over on the other side and doing all the talking.
Yeah.
And it's simply disgraceful. It's contrary to law.
So here we have the guards in and out of the room now.
Sorry, could I just ask you to go into the room?
That's the Gardaí coming out of the hearing room.
Thanks. And if I could just ask you to
Absolutely
go into the room, please.
astounding that the Gardaí have been inside the
We
hearing
came here
room.
for the meeting today. We
Yes,
came here for the disciplinary appeals panel.
Yes, could you
Came up from Castlebar.
Yes.
Enoch
Yes.
Burke was taken out of Castlebar prison,
Yes.
and it should be conducted according to
Yes,
law, the law of this land.
Yes,
Could you
and your
raise
own
your-
circular from the Department of Education. I understand you work for the Department of Education. The circular says proceedings shall be informal, and it does
You know
not
that.
give a right for a solicitor and a barrister to be on the other side of the room running the show on behalf of the Board of Management.
Could you look at the camera and give your name, please?
Maybe you could explain
No,
to
I
us,
would like you to
as a
go into the
representative,
corridor,
as an
please.
employee of the
Could you
Department
look
of
at the
Education,
camera? Give your name, please.
Could you move into the
There is
corridor,
a
please?
barrister from Dublin and a solicitor from Dublin sitting opposite, representing the Board of Management in this appeal.
Yes.
when it's totally contrary to law
Why is that?
and
Why
practice
is that?
Could you move
and
into
the
room,
circular.
please? Could you move into the room, please?
I'm waiting for an explanation. This is an extremely serious
could you move
matter.
into the room, please?
It's an extremely serious matter.
Yes, would you move into
We
the room,
came
please?
here for the disciplinary appeal panel to conduct this meeting this morning. We came from Castlebar. We were up very early. Enoch Burke was taken from Castlebar prison, and
he's not going to answer him.
It should be conducted according to law and order, and
Yes.
according to the circular.
Yes.
It is not being conducted in a fair manner. Enoch Burke, this
You
young
have to
teacher
raise
is
that
being
in a different
abused.
forum. If I could
No,
just
we're
ask you to
raising
go
it
into
here
the room,
now.
please.
Unbelievable. All right, now they're kind of it's evil. They're predators on 15-year-old girls. A lot of them they end up doing so much to them that they commit suicide. Watch it.
I came into the bathroom and she had cut up her legs. We made some decisions of therapy and which should we go to a hospital.
And life spiraled out of control. Jason discovered Penelope was in deep. She appeared to have been groomed by someone in the 764 group who was convincing her to hurt herself, and even the family pets.
There is video of my daughter trying to kill my cat, which got sent to me by members of the group.
Suicide
They're using psychological stuff on a lot of these young kids.
attempts followed, also for an online audience.
I'm going to say 3 to 4 other attempts, and they may or may not have been live streamed or put out there on Twitch or Discord.
Eventually, Penelope succeeded. She took her own life in February 2025, 3 days before her 16th birthday.
Okay, John. I'm going to do a little humor for a minute to get it off this subject a little bit.
We must rise up against the tyranny of kings. No more billionaires. No more elites. Power to the people. Free college, free healthcare, free everything except my tax returns.
Wow, Bernie, look at you, still screaming about kings while your socialist buddies in Congress fly private jets to climate summits. Beautiful. Really tremendous hypocrisy.
Donald, you are the king, the orange king. We're here to say, no kings, the people demand.
The people? Which people, Bernie? The ones still waiting for you to pay off their student loans from 2016, or the ones who watched you lose to Hillary twice?
This is a revolution. We will not bow to authoritarianism. We will seize the means of production.
Bernie, the only thing you've seized lately is second place. Every time. You're like that guy who shows up to the buffet after they've already put out the close sign.
The working class is rising. We're done with kings and billionaires.
Bernie, you're Biden 2.0. Same crazy ideas, same teleprompter meltdowns, except Biden at least knew how to fall up the stairs with style. You just fall everywhere.
I marched with MLK. I fought the establishment.
You fought the establishment so hard you became the guy who owns 3 houses and still calls himself a socialist.
The billionaires must pay their fair share.
Fair share? Bernie, if we taxed you like you want to tax me, you'd have to sell one of your mansions and move into actual public housing. Imagine that headline. Bernie Sanders finally experiences socialism.
This protest will change everything.
Keep protesting, folks. Every time Bernie opens his mouth, another independent voter runs to me. No kings? Please. The only king here is king of losing. That's you, Bernie. Now go get some rest. You look like you've been protesting since the Carter administration.
Yep. Here's a little more humor. Chuck Schumer.
Kash Patel is a danger to the Democratic Party. If he keeps
Okay, this one you got to be watching as well as listening.
digging around, we're basically all fucked. I mean, we've been doing all kinds of illegal shit like stealing money, stealing elections, funding the KKK and shit. So anyway, Kash Patel had 1 beer at a hockey game. So let's get him with that. Just keep talking about it on the fake news all day long until he resigns. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day. Oh, and all hail the Democrat Party.
The Southern Law Property Center or whatever it is. All right, here's for those who are a little bit religious. This is Mother Miriam drops truth bombs about the Pope.
Me sick. The Vatican Library would allow Muslim scholars to pray in a designated room with a prayer rug. Why would they allow Satan into the Vatican Library? That's insane. It's very dangerous that he's carrying on Pope Francis's agenda, and it's my concern is that many more souls, are not going to learn the truth, and they will be sent to hell.
Oh, as they should. All right, here's some more on Britain and the rapes and stuff there.
Have you actually read the details of what those disgusting, feral demons did to that woman? Have you read it? The asylum seekers who filmed themselves spitting on her, slapping her face, calling it foreplay as she drifted in and out of consciousness. Have you read about the details of that attack? This poor, innocent girl going about her life in full freedom. And do you want to know? Do you want to know his excuse, our friend from Egypt, our little murderer mate that we've been putting up in a hotel? Oh, he struggled to understand consent. He told the court, rape, to me, is sex. Because it is. Because to a lot of these men coming over on boats into our country illegally, that is exactly their mindset. That is exactly their attitude. Because in their home countries, if a woman so much as shows off an ankle, it is considered too titillating for their wild, uncontained, badly brought up sexual proclivities. They can't resist it, can they? No, get your hair out. You probably deserve to be dragged behind a beach hut and defiled. It's utterly disgusting. And yes, the man was convicted of murder and somehow, despite apparently undergoing asylum checks and security checks, yeah, just stay here. We don't know if that murder happened or not. If you say it didn't, probably didn't, did it, son? Oh, right, so why did he leave Egypt then? A numbskull could figure out the man was clearly on the run and a ne'er-do-well and a risk to society. But do you know what? Do you know what? I don't even blame so much these disgusting creatures who are brought up to regard women as chattel and meat with these vile attitudes. They should go back to their own sin-filled countries and do what they like there. That is none of our business in the United Kingdom. The people I want rotten vegetables thrown out in the streets are the people behind these decisions, the judges, people in the Home Office, politicians who seem to want to shower themselves in glory and faux moral righteousness. They want to look good around their dinner party tables, bragging to their friends how they're not the far-right thugs who seem to go out and protest every time yet another incident like this happens. Those people are morally bankrupt. It's blood on their hands. It's rape on their hands. It's their decisions. It's their terrible political compass. It is their egocentric, vile vanity that means these things keep happening, that every day I open a newspaper, another woman's life has been destroyed. And it's not just the women who have been attacked. It's their families. It's their friends. It's every mother with a daughter. It's every schoolgirl walking home, leaving the school gates, unable to fend for herself when predators like this are roaming the streets. It is every single woman in this country who is being abused by this government, who continue to gaslight us, tell us they're doing something about it, smashing the gangs. You've done nothing. And the recipe is very easy to follow. You could do something, and you could do something today. You could get rid of the Human Rights Act, put in emergency legislation and say no. And say to France, do you know what? We're leaving all the treaties. And right now, anyone crossing the channel is going to be sent straight back to your shores. We could turn these army camps that apparently are being used to house migrants now into detention centres. We can build chicken wire fences around them. We can put yobs and predators like that in secure containment before sending them on their merry way back from whence they came. You know, Starmer could swallow his stupid pride and reinstate the Rwanda scheme. Now, multiple other European countries are looking at that as potentially a good idea, but no, they don't care. The rape, the torture, the abuse of this woman and countless others, all the victims of the grooming gangs as well, it doesn't matter. The lives, the integrity, the security, the innocence of girls in this country means nothing to these vile politicians who would rather grandstand while having the audacity, the temerity to call all the rest of us far right when we notice what they've done. They're going to rot in hell. They really disgust me. I had to get it off my chest. I knew you knew that was coming. Philip, what did I miss?
You didn't really miss anything there, Alex, and I think for me, I read this story today, and this is symbolic of what's happening across the country. It's the rape of Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder what she thinks. No, she said it well. Hey, after a while, people are just going to get too fed up. All right, now this is UK grooming gangs. They're actually grabbing women off the street and throwing them in cars. And there's a lot of people walking around not trying to stop them. Watch this. There's no sound to it. They're grabbing a woman, a young girl, like a teenager. 2 guys are taking her. Look at the people just walking by, nothing happening. Are they afraid to do anything or what? There's a woman saying something. They're actually stealing young girls off the street. That young girl's fighting for her life there. Now some big, heavy, older guys trying to do a little something. The guy in the sweater didn't stop him at all. He's got a cane. You'd think more people would do more about it. I don't know. He's out in front of the truck now saying something, but she got away. There she goes. See her running? She did escape for now. Thank heavens for that. They were going to rape her. Unbelievable. All right, here's a bit of Stossel.
People running for cover as gunfire erupts at a Dallas car wash.
When there's crime, I blame the criminals. But Dallas politicians blame a business.
The Dallas Board of Adjustment ordered Jim's Car Wash to shut down by the end of the week.
Why? It's not the business's fault if crime happens nearby. 5 years ago, I reported a Dallas politician's attack on the car wash. I'll tell you what's happened since, but first, let's recap.
The city says it's a hub for drug sales and crime.
I thought I was being a model citizen.
Car wash owner Dale Davenport says he fought crime.
Now watch what they do to this business owner who puts fences up and everything.
Crime. Doing everything.
He's not making the right payoff, so, greasing the right palms.
The politicians ask him to do.
They said build a 6-foot fence. I built an 8-foot fence. Then they said put up signs. I already had signs up, so I put up more signs. Then they told me to put up, lights. I already had lights up, so I put up more lights.
Doing everything they ask.
Yes, sir. And they come in, they close my business, they take it away from me. They murdered my business, is what the city of Dallas has done.
Many cities have policies that allow them to close a business if the owner conceals crime. But Davenport didn't do that. When he saw crime, he called 911.
I'm the one that called the police, yes.
Dallas then used his 911 calls as evidence against him. Because you called to report the crime.
Then they said you're a public nuisance. I mean, this is absolutely crazy.
By closing Davenport.
Oh, they don't want their numbers to go up. That would hurt them politically.
It's car wash, the community lost, a neighborhood hub.
It's like a good place for the community. It really is.
People would drive to the car wash and then visit local businesses while waiting for their cars to be washed.
All the businesses that were next to me at my car wash, their business is down 40-50%.
Why, in this high crime neighborhood, did politicians go after just one business that was well lit and where the owner did everything the politicians requested? The city.
It turns out that someone else wanted to get another car wash right in there, and they were on the board.
He said, hire armed guards.
And then when I did hire guards, they once told me, you've hired the wrong guard company.
The wrong company?
Because there was a city councilman that had an armed guard company that they wanted me to tender my business to his company.
Could that be the problem? That corrupt Dallas politicians want the money for themselves?
This is extortion.
Right, we contacted all 14 members of the city council. Not one agreed to an interview. I suspect they don't want their faces on camera while some of their fellow members may be using their power to enrich themselves.
The guard company that the city of Dallas originally told me to hire, which we didn't hire, was owned by the city councilman.
That was James Fantroy, says Dale. He was later convicted of stealing $20,000 from a college.
Look at the corruption. Look how many city councilmen have gone to jail.
Former Dallas City Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Dwayne Caraway is just the latest.
That's the ones they're catching.
This now in a long list of public officials who have been jailed over the years.
Paul Fielding, remember him? The North Dallas councilman convicted for conspiracy and fraud. And Councilman James Fantroy, also convicted. And then there's Don Hill. His payments from a housing developer sent both of them to prison.
This car wash has helped feed my family. It's helped put my kids through college.
So now 5 years later, Davenport is still not allowed to reopen his car wash. Has crime gone down? No. The neighborhood now has the highest violent crime rate in the city.
Crime is down across the city, but here, a pure nightmare.
Davenport showed us what his old neighborhood looks like now, just across from where his car wash was.
There's a homeless camp.
So he went back to the police station, trying to get more policing in his neighborhood.
Is the city attorney here?
Surprisingly, just a couple miles away from where Jim's car wash was, a new car wash is opening. Why do they get to open, but Jim can't? Because Dallas politicians just don't like him.
I know right from wrong, and this is wrong.
The state of Texas has now passed a law that says if
he didn't pay off the grease the right palms, it's got to grease their palms.
Cities shut a business down, they must pay the owners a sum equal to the costs incurred by the owners. Compensating owners would be a good thing. But here's a better idea. Stop shutting down businesses.
It's that corrupt even in Texas, huh? Tammy and John? It's even corrupt out there in Texas? All right, now this is about a story of a truck driver from Pennsylvania. It turns out they got people on the board that are going to go with the EPA regulations of California. So they got to follow all those laws. Watch this story.
Brian Wanner runs Peter Brothers Trucking. His family business delivers goods all over America. But now he says Pennsylvania bureaucrats will force him out of his home state.
We have no say. We can't do anything about it.
No say, because Pennsylvania's rules don't come from Pennsylvania. They came from California.
State regulators unanimously voting 14-0.
This is an absolutely transformative rule to clean our air and mitigate climate change.
Emission rules will
eliminate
tens of thousands of trucks.
If we want to follow California, we can move there. I want to follow what Pennsylvania residents want to do.
Yeah,
I don't want to be anything like California.
But too bad for him, because years ago, Pennsylvania's
because they didn't get their cut. That's why they don't like an honest person.
Environmental Quality Board decided we'll automatically copy California rules.
California just declared war on pollution from large trucks.
The newest rule, copied from California, will raise the price of new trucks. The truck will cost a third more.
It's anywhere from 50 to 80,000.
It's necessary, say California regulators, because
the time for putting public health second to the economy is over.
Trucks you drive contribute gravely to health problems.
We have come so far in the last 40 years. In 1980, one truck produces as much as 60 trucks today.
So we want people to buy new trucks.
You want people to buy new trucks. But if you put these costs on us that we cannot afford, we're going to just run the older trucks.
The regulators don't think about that.
They do not think about that. They do not see the consequences of what they're doing.
Now, truckers like
newer trucks are probably safer, too, to be on the road.
Brian, to save $80,000, will just buy trucks in other states.
We could drive to Ohio and get cheaper trucks.
Don't worry, they'll make some law against that there.
The rule doesn't apply to any of those trucks. It'll just hurt Pennsylvanians who sell trucks. And there won't be any pollution reduction. The people on this board, the Fish and Boat Commission, the Game Commission, the Museum Commission, what do they know about air pollution?
Well, apparently nothing.
Caleb Kruckenberg of the Pacific Legal Foundation.
The whole idea of having a regulatory board like this is, oh, these people are experts. They know what they're talking about. They're smarter than the lawmakers. But if you look at the board, that's not true. I mean, these are just sort of random bureaucrats who work in the government, and they say, I don't know, let's follow.
They're going to get their payoff first.
All California.
So what? California seems to have a lot of money. I can see a state saying, yeah, let their regulators figure out how we reduce pollution, and we'll save money doing what they do.
Nobody in Pennsylvania has ever voted for the standards that now control Pennsylvania.
He says what Pennsylvania is doing violates the Constitution.
If people want something, their legislature is supposed to pass it.
We will eliminate in the state of California the sales of internal combustion engines.
California's rules will soon get
electric trucks. They weigh a lot more, cost a lot more. How's that work in Pennsylvania where it's going to be freezing? Those batteries really going to work? Oh, then you got to recharge all that. And you're going to have coal power plants charging those batteries up, huh? That's really less pollution? Bullcrap.
even more expensive because they want all new vehicles to be electric.
The hope is that it's a pollution reduction. But again, electricity comes from somewhere.
I know damn well it's not going to be pollution thing. China makes the freaking batteries for it with lithium, and that's what they want. And they get their kickback from China, their percentage on that.
And usually it comes from fossil fuel emissions.
Where does Pennsylvania get its electricity?
Pennsylvania makes a lot of electricity from coal.
Almost 5 times as much from coal as from so-called clean renewables like solar or wind. Most Pennsylvania electricity comes from natural gas. So to power all electric trucks, Pennsylvania will burn more fossil fuels. In addition,
we cannot supply enough electricity to power the trucks.
You don't have charging stations?
The charging stations, we can get the charging stations. We do not have the supply of electricity.
Nor do other states.
They can't even provide enough electric to provide their own cars in California.
And AI is going to use even more electricity.
Californians are sometimes told not to charge their electric cars. Another problem, electric trucks are heavy.
The heavier the trucks are, the harder it is on the road. They have a very low mileage radius, so you can't work all day.
And there's several areas where you got to drive several more miles to get around these bridges that won't take the weight of them.
It's nothing that you can take across the United States with a load. We're not even close to getting there.
No, but the regulators don't seem to care. They want to look like they care about the environment.
God damn, they're all getting paid off.
Why would we allow our state to give away their lawmaking procedures to California? Why would we allow that with no input? That's not the American way.
True on that. All right, here's a little kind of humor about the Southern Law Poverty Center.
Sir, my message is simple. Jews, homosexuals, Mexicans, and all kinds of different chanks stink, and I hate it.
What exactly is your problem?
How much time you got, buddy? First of all, they're lazy, good-for-nothing tricksters, crack-smoking swindlers, breathing all the white man's air. They eat up all the chicken. White power! Let's talk about Chinese people.
That was humor, people. Don't get all upset. All right, they're trying to demoralize white men in Europe. You're supposed to hate white men, and this is what their message. They're putting this actually out on the air out there.
Is there an epidemic of white men harassing women of color in the UK? Well, according to their own government, the answer is yes.
Nice. What? I was just looking at her. I was just looking at her ass. Big one, love. Just saying, she might like it. Just ask her if she needed a daddy.
The man in the grey suit is staring at you. Would you report it?
Yeah, it's white men that are the problem.
It's him again. You can feel his breath. Would you report it?
Watch this, what they insinuate here.
Is that his bag? He's not carrying one.
So this is objectively hilarious. Street harassment in the UK, specifically in cities like London, has gotten so bad that obviously the feminist government feels the need to do something about it, even if it's just releasing a PSA. However, this government is also pro-diversity, meaning that they are simply too PC to acknowledge the fact that, 90% of the street harassment that London women are experiencing actually comes from, migrants. Oh, what a pickle. And so they've shot, filmed, and edited this entire PSA where they portray white men as the perpetrators. And obviously I'm not saying here that a white man has never catcalled a woman, but I mean, come on. Ladies, if you've ever experienced street harassment, you know which demographic is disproportionately responsible for it. And it's not white guys. So it's like they don't want to portray the harassers as being brown, even though statistically
they want you to hate white, I think.
Speaking, they would be. So they make them white, but hey, they're still woke, so they don't want the ad to be entirely white. You gotta put some brown people in there somewhere, so they choose to make the women being harassed women of color, even though white on brown harassment or crimes of that nature are some of the rarest. And so what we end up with is this fantastical depiction, less realistic if you ask me than The Lord of the Rings, where this white man in a suit chooses to harass this woman of color on the metro. And it's like, okay, really? Is that what's happening in London now?
I don't think so, not likely. All right, there's new London data on sexual assault, rapes and stuff. Numbers, here we go.
In 59 days, across January and February, in 59 days, there was 1,435 rapes reported in London.
And that's reported. So you could probably double that or even more multiples of it, because a lot.
Sorry, it makes me peed when they lie so badly, Marianne.
That's it. The sexual assault.
Just constant. They think if they repeat something enough times, it's believed, which does happen, you know. Like they kept calling Trump a rapist and all this kind of stuff, and if they keep repeating it, it's believed, you know.
The sexual assault and rape numbers have gone up by 400%. So when Sadiq Khan talks about, oh, it's the safest city in the country, it's
bull crap.
It's outrageous. We know that there are rape gangs operating in London. We know that there's trafficking. We know all of these things, and we know who the predators are, mainly.
Amen on that. Let's go back to California here.
California is now
they're finding new ways to taxing, because they still got to do this welfare state for all the illegals. They've got the illegals and the welfare people they want. Now they got to come up with the money. So they got to take it from everyone else.
California is now collecting signatures to tax your savings account. 5% your bank account.
Yeah, they're going to start taxing a percentage of your savings.
Your retirement, your home equity. And the part that made me laugh this morning, I told you this was coming. A buddy texted me a clip, news anchor, Dallas, Texas, not even California, breaking the story that Sacramento is coming for your savings account.
California labor unions have advanced a ballot initiative that would slap a one-time 5% tax on the savings accounts of the state's residents to make up for overspending in other areas like illegal migrants.
So I started digging, and what I found is going to make you absolutely sick. This isn't a billionaire tax. This is stage 2 of the biggest financial mugging in California history. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what they're doing.
Every tax starts out small, too. Then they never stop taxing, and they keep increasing it.
Exactly who is doing it and exactly what you need to do about it. So let's start with a lie, because there's always a lie. They're calling it the Billionaire Tax Act. And 50% of Californians hear that and think, hey, sure, tax to billionaires. I'm not a billionaire.
If you were voting today, would you support or oppose the initiative? Little concerning. 50% of Californians are like, yeah, sure, I'll tax the billionaires.
That's exactly what they're counting on. Now, here's the truth. The billionaires already left. And I already told you this. Elon Musk didn't stay to pay it. Larry Ellison didn't stay to pay it. The second this thing got proposed, they hired attorneys, transferred their assets, and they were gone. Nevada, Texas, Florida. I covered this, and I showed you exactly how it works.
A bunch of the billionaires who are the initial targets of the Democrats' wealth tax, they fled. They just left California.
So Sacramento did the math. If the billionaires leave, oops, the middle class becomes the billionaire. And now they got a $30 billion budget hole, not because revenue is down, because they can't stop spending your money. Free healthcare for illegal immigrants, free cell phones, free housing, while you are cutting back on dinners going out, while your kids are drowning in student loans. Sacramento just keeps spending. And when they run out of money, They invented a new tax. Now, let me take you back to 1913. Congress passes the income tax. You know what they said? Only the top 0.5% of earners will ever pay this. Only the ultra wealthy. Let me ask you a question. Did you pay income tax last April 15th? Yeah, you did. Property tax? That was for wealthy landowners. Gas tax, mileage tax, every single one started as a tax on someone else. Every single one ended up in your wallet.
So you work hard. You're already giving government all this money through sales tax and property tax and income tax, gas tax, car tax, all these taxes. And
really, in the end, it's about control.
If by the end of the year you're managing to scrimp and save a little bit of money, government's not done yet. They want that too.
And now they're doing it again, right in front of your face, and they think you're too distracted to notice.
They always say they're going to tax the rich person over there, but sure enough, before you know it, yep, we're all paying that tax that they promised would only be paid by someone else.
So I did the math because nobody else is going to do it for you. The average California homeowner, you've been here for 30 years, you did everything right. You've got about $400,000 in home equity, $200,000 in your 401k, $30,000 in your savings. That's $630,000 in assets. Gavin Newsom and the rest of the guys in Sacramento, they want 5% of that, $31,500. That's not a billionaire tax. That's a middle-class liquidation fee.
It would be a tax that would allow government to take a percentage of whatever you have in your checking account, your savings account, your 401k, your stock portfolio, your home equity, anything that you have of value. Government can come in and say, okay, this year we're going to take a flat percentage, 6%, 7%, 5%.
And they said it's one time. Yeah, the income tax was one time too. Now, let's say it goes the way every California tax goes. Year 2, $31,500. Year 3, $31,500. 5 years from now, you've written Sacramento a check for $157,000 on money you already paid taxes on equity that you built with your own hands. Now, here's what should make your blood absolutely boil. Carl DeMaio went to the assembly floor, introduced a constitutional amendment. It's called the ACA 14. All it said was this: California can't ever impose a savings tax on a resident. Guarantee, in writing, forever. If Democrats were telling the truth, if this really was only going to hit billionaires, they would have voted yes without blinking. Guess what they did? They killed it.
Democrats killed that bill. I said, look, you say that, you're only going to tax billionaires. Here's your chance to give us a guarantee that the middle class working families are never going to have to be worried about being grandfathered into a savings tax. They didn't do that at all.
They looked you in the eye and they said, no, because they were planning to stop at the billionaires. And who's out on the street corners right now collecting signatures to put this on your November ballot? California labor unions. The same unions that run Sacramento, the same unions whose pensions are bankrupting cities across the state. They need your savings account to keep their machine running.
Well, here's a fast fact for you. Governor Gavin Newsom's California is set to start taxing savings accounts to make up for a $30 million budget deficit.
Now, let me talk to you directly. Get off your ass. Read the bills. I know it's boring. Read them anyway, because this is exactly how they get you.
The measure targets wealthy people, potentially raking in about $25 billion for a dedicated fund that many say will be used for illegal migrant services.
They make it complicated, so you tune out. The second you tune out, they take your money. Stop voting for new taxes. I don't care what they call it, a billionaire tax, a wealth tax, road use charge. It's a new tax. Vote no every damn time. No exceptions. Think about it this way. If your family had a budget problem, you'd stop going out. You'd cut back. You'd figure it out. You wouldn't call your neighbor and say, hey man, give me 5% of your savings account because I can't stop spending. That's what Sacramento is doing to you every year, like clockwork. April 15th is coming. You're about to write a check to the IRS and to California. And while you're signing that check, union organizers are on street corners collecting signatures to take another 5% of everything that you have left.
And they're paying them for those signatures.
Critics also say that the wealth tax will then start being charged to people who are worth $1 million, then $250,000, then everyone in the
That's how the socialism sells it to you.
State.
They couldn't trap the billionaires, so now they're coming for the people who stayed. Your savings, your retirement, your house.
if you enact a tax and we lose revenues, which we will, how worried are you that the middle class?
Because they drag so many illegals into this country, and they got to keep handing them money so they can keep them voting.
Californians will end up having to pay higher taxes to offset the difference. 67% concerned.
Because Sacramento has one rule. If the money exists, they'll take it.
Yep. All right, this one's going to disturb you. Some people are saying this guy's kid's an illegal teenager. The two girls walking up to him, and he's trying to get a date or get their phone number, and he won't do it. And so she tries to walk away. He picks her up and slams her on her head and starts stomping on her head. This is disturbing.
Right? I just gotta smack the shit out of you right now, right? Do it. No, you stand right here. No,
she don't want anything to do with him.
You stand right here.
Oh no, she got your pussy.
Let's go. Oh, what?
That girl thinks it's funny that's filming it too.
Yo, no.
And then I guess the judge lets him off. The judge let him off. Unbelievable. Why is he on the streets after that? What about the one filming it? She was in on it. Unbelievable to me. All right, let's see how much. I got 5 minutes left. I'm going to play Karen Kennedy's video here.
By now, you may already be aware that America was on the verge of being completely destroyed by a gang of very powerful criminals who had made their way right into the heart of power. We didn't notice because they had become our most trusted leaders, entertainers, and politicians.
I agree.
But then things changed. In 2016, patriots in the U.S. military took back power legitimately with the election of Donald Trump. Plunged directly into the damage and sickening destruction caused to America and the world. They got to work dismantling the branches of this powerful secret shadow government that was in the process of siphoning off America's vast wealth to their global masters. After 2 years of a dramatic covert operation that was to include the gutting of the corrupt CIA, FBI, and Justice Department, they now face the last remaining pillar of the deep state, their vast media empire. They were using this unparalleled power to confuse the people of the world and distract from their criminality and subversion. They recognized that division and hate among people was the most effective way to keep us occupied and ignorant while they robbed us blind, engineered senseless trade deals, and destroyed distant lands for their own personal gain. The mainstream media, both in America and beyond, now remains the gravest threat to the people of the world. The battle for the American soul began in October 2017 with an NSA intelligence operation that we call Q. For the first time, the people were shown the reality of the world they live in, the extent of the corruption and crime that had been destroying their society for decades. Most of all, it showed them the path to their own liberation. Finally, on July 31st, 2018, in Tampa, Florida, President Donald Trump, avoiding the corrupt media channels by speaking directly to the people, allowed Q followers to display their support publicly. This deliberate action forced the deep state media to cover the story, as not doing so would raise a level of curiosity that could lead to a devastating mass awakening. To defend against this, they joined together in an unprecedented combined global mass media assault against Q, hoping they could deter the public from discovering the truth about our world. They call it a conspiracy, a word associated with unlawful or nefarious actions, depicting Q followers as a danger to society instead of peace-loving patriots just trying to break free from the prison of the mind that was created for them. Their attack on Q was to be just one of countless knowingly false narratives started and pushed by the criminals that control our media. They said Trump colluded with Russia to win the 2016 presidential election. They said he was a puppet to Putin. They claimed he would hurt relationships with our allies. They said he would collapse the economy and the stock market. We heard he was about to go to war with North Korea. They are saying he will do the same with Iran. They even said he would destroy the whole world. These fake narratives kept on coming, and they spread them with full knowledge that they were lies meant to stop the one force that could end them for good. It's time the American people and those all over the world ask themselves what is really going on. What are the people who control our media afraid of? What are they hiding? If you look, you will discover that the fake news media is not free or independent. You will see it is just a propaganda arm of the deep state. You will discover the names and faces of the cabal agents who have colluded to destroy our republic and bend us to their will. They want you divided. Divided by race. Divided by religion. Divided by political affiliation. They want this because divided you are weak. Together you are strong. It's time to research for yourself. You will find many things, among them an unprecedented number of sealed indictments filed in preparation for a mass arrest event. You will also discover an unprecedented list of corrupt CEOs who have recently been removed from their posts. You will see the same in the Senate and in Congress. And you will see the same at the top of the FBI and the Justice Department. This movement is not about one person or a group of people. It is about we, the people. The world is currently witnessing the largest mass treason event in living history. But instead of being fearful, we should be filled with hope. Instead of fighting among ourselves, we should face our only true enemy, the criminal deep state and their once invincible mainstream media apparatus. Do you want it for yourself? It's easy. Follow Q and turn them off.
I don't know about the Q part, but all the other stuff about them, the deep state and all that is so true. All right. God bless everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. On weekends, I tend to do. All right. Take care. God bless. Sorry I was on yesterday. I get so many messages of what's going on in Iran, So take care. God bless. Bye-bye.